Hi everyone, it's me. Today is January 14th, 2025. It's 8:21 p.m. and it is cold outside. It is minus 13 degrees outside and it feels even colder. I hope you're well. I hope you're enjoying your week so far on Tuesday. Anyway, I came home. I didn't bother taking my hat off. I'm wearing my Canadian toque in celebration of being Canadian for just no fucking reason. So I've got my little fuzzy thing. I thought you'd like that. See me in a Canadian toque. And yeah. So I came home and I was looking through my books and I was looking through the secret teachings of the ages. I do have a few things that I'd like to quickly go over and share some of my thoughts with you. But there is something really cool that I came across. I mean, there's so many interesting and very cool things in this book. Sometimes it's a little difficult to understand, but thankfully, I was reading a part about alchemy and alchemists. And there's this part where it talks about the goals of an alchemist. Hold on one second. Yes, sums up the ends which alchemists sought to achieve in the following paragraphs. So, number 2 says the creation of homunculi, or living beings, of which many wonderful but incredible tales are told. So, this happens to be the great work, it calls it, of the philosopher. And I realized that I was correct in saying that with a creation. Oh, Marmar, get out of the kitty litter box. She's pulling the plastic out of the hole where you pick it up. So I forget. Hold on. Sorry, I'll just pause. Hold on. I'm really sorry. Okay, so I got it. I fixed it. So what I was saying was the great work that's also known as Magnum Opus. Hang on. Yeah, Magnum Opus, a great work, especially a literary or artistic masterpiece. The greatest single work of an artist, writer, or composer. A great work of art or literature. So in this chapter, hold on, I put this back down. It talks about how alchemists and philosophers use art as an expression. Hold on one second. The second, okay, so there are two methods whereby growth can be accomplished. The first is by nature. That's why I was talking about the elementals and the nature spirits and stuff like that, because that's a huge part of it. For nature is an alchemist forever achieving the apparently impossible. The second is by art. Through art is produced in a comparatively short time, because it's talking about how nature and evolution takes quite a long time, and the cycles of things. This is why I mentioned forced evolution before, and this is kind of what we're experiencing and going through now in this age. Forever achieving the apparently impossible. The second is by art. Through art is produced in a comparatively short time. that which requires nature almost endless periods to duplicate. The true philosopher, desiring to accomplish the Magnum Opus, the great work, patterns his conduct according to the laws of nature, recognizing that the art of alchemy is merely a method copied from nature, but with the aid of certain secret formulae, greatly shortened by being correspondingly intensified. So, as I was saying, I should continue. Nature, in order to achieve her miracles, must work through either extensiveness or intensiveness. Intensiveness, yeah. The extensive processes of nature are such as used in the transmutation of the pitch black of carbon into diamonds, or coal into diamonds. So there's three things with alchemy: salt, sulfur, and mercury. Pretty sure. Those are the three things that the human is composed of. There's a diagram of it with a tree. Where did that go? It has like the sun, and the sun being like the supreme being or representing God. There it is. This way. You see that? You see he's got that little symbol on his chest? That's the mercury salt and sulfur thing. And you see the little kundalini energy thing? I forget what that's called. But anyway, that. But anyway, the whole point of it is what that means, the creation of homoculi. What I was saying when I made my video about God being a writer and not knowing that the characters he's writing about come into existence somewhere. Now, it just so happened that in the clips that I used, that Chuck, who's unrealized God, and creator of this world, not this world we're in, but this world of supernatural, okay? Because of course this is a TV show and I'm trying to use examples. So, I've lost my train of thought. So with Chuck, he doesn't know that he's writing about them. And so, it's almost like, by showing you that, I was trying to show you that it's very possible that that's exactly what the divine creator, like the top supreme being, did. Thoughts become things. Thinking of every single one of us, creating like art on a canvas, making a painting, this and that of each one of us. Do you understand? So we do this in a way where we're thinking and feeling, but it's an internal thing. With a lot of this, so our bodies are a microcosm, so a small thing, as a reflection to a much larger thing, to a celestial body. So, like this, we have this, but there's also a much larger, as it reflects out there in the physical world, as representing in the solar system, and stuff like that. So, I know that I'm not the best at explaining all of this, but I'm also learning as I'm sharing. And I want to make that clear that, I'm just a student of this myself, and in my process of understanding and in my journey to find the answers to the questions that I had, I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I'm sharing it as I go. So, as I said, the creation of homoculi, or living beings, of which many wonderful and incredible tales are told, like There goes some DVDs. Oops, sorry. Like this, Incredible Tales, or this, right? Or this, or this. Do you remember how I said in Sailor Moon that Sailor V is a comic book that Sailor Moon reads? She doesn't know she exists. She's a comic book and a video game. She does end up meeting her in real life, in their world, but the creator made it like that, almost as a reflection. Do you see? So I had that thought one time that if I ever went to this world somehow, like the world of Sailor Moon or whatever, just imagining, how would I explain how I know who she is and how she exists? And I would just have to say, in my world, you know how Sailor V was a book in your world? In my world, you're a book. You're a video game. You're an anime, a TV show. And she'd be like, what? You see what I'm saying? Just like they did when in Supernatural, the clips from the video that I posted on Rumble, I will link it below. They find out that there's this guy writing every detail about their lives. It has been for years. So it's just like that. So like I was saying in my book that I wrote, I've always thought that every video game, movie, in creation like this, we may never find these worlds with our physical selves, but they could be out there somewhere in like the spiritual, astral aspect of things. Of course, I don't know everything. I've only gotten so far. And with the whole spiritual, physical changeover, there seems to be a level of existence where sometimes you can be physical and sometimes you can be spiritual, like these extraterrestrials in their dimensional UFOs. Okay? But all right, so let me get my little thing here. I think I explained that about how if you create it, it comes to life somewhere. I remember I told people this once about I went to a convention and I ran into these girls who were cosplaying as Final Fantasy characters. And I explained that to them somewhere, or that I explained that to them there, that I said, I've always thought that somewhere, somehow, that these worlds exist, that they've been created somehow. Maybe this is why the universe keeps growing, you know? And the girl started to cry, not being sad, but relieved. And she said, I'm so glad that you said this, because I've always been waiting to hear somebody else say that. I've thought that too. So I know that I'm not the only one, and learning these things in my book makes me feel, or in the books that I'm reading, makes me feel a tad bit less crazy. But I won't deny that I've been struggling because I've gone so quickly. But anyway, let me show you something. Oh, if you're wondering where I was reading in the book, it was page 442 and 443 of The Secret Teachings of the Ages. Of all ages. I don't know why I read it like that all the time, but The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall. Okay? And the other chapter was the elements and their inhabitants. It talked about that. Chemical marriage. Do I have a bookmark? Maybe. Sorry, everybody. There was something else. There was a diagram that I saw that has the representation of the elemental worlds And it looks like the common figure they show for the rings of Atlantis. Where is it? I know, I'm not very prepared. But anyway, it reminded me of the rings of Atlantis. And there was even 7 of them. $58. 53, 55, 58. The regions of the elements and their inhabitants. Yeah. It's right there. This one. That's the region of the elements and their inhabitants, which are the elementals. Okay? So, got me a little bored. How do I do this? I forgot something to erase. Hold on. If this is our world here, this is Earth. Okay? Earth. That's the symbol for Earth. So, the Earth has a spiritual energetic parallel, which would be our spirit realm. Exactly the same as the Earth, just all immaterial stuff. Physical, non-physical. This is going to be affected by thoughts and feelings. Your spirit, how is it? Yeah, because the way you feel and the way you think and the way you perceive things is how this part is going to look after you leave here. So whatever you think it's going to be, it becomes. Because it's affected by your consciousness. So when we think about the spirit realm, it is actually directly on top. It's not separate. It would be overlapping, occupying the same space, but at a slightly higher octave. Okay, so what is that? Out here. So it says the interval of 8 diatonic degrees between 2 tones of the same name. Forget that. The higher of which has twice as many vibrations per as the lower. So this one is vibrating higher than the current place we're at. It's vibrating higher. Almost like this. If we're at this, we go to this, where it's like singing, right? That's why sound has a big thing about it. But again, it's talking, what did it say? Vibration. Sound is vibration. It's about frequency, energy, and vibration. I've lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm thinking of like if our regular light spectrum, the stuff we can see, is here at the level of just where I was at the Earth level, where we're at in 3D, and the spirit is 4D. Is the mind. Hmm. Well, it didn't go as I planned it to. Elena Denon said that there's beings on Jupiter, but they live on a different dimension of their planet. In our dimension, there's nothing there on Jupiter. It's just a gas giant. I've always thought that maybe planets in this, in our physical space here, where most planets are barren without life in our solar system, I've always thought that maybe at one time, long ago, they could have supported life, but no longer in the cycle of things. In that book there, it talked about how beings that were closer to what I'm thinking is like these rings. Hold on. So with the elementals, I can't see myself. With the elementals and these beings, here's us. The closer you live to us, the more influenced you are by our conditions, you see? So this is our known lands, and then right out here, this is what it was explaining. I know I'm not doing the greatest job. But I'm glad that I found that Magnum Opus thing. Because I didn't really know. I heard the great work. It's known as a great work, it says here, but didn't really know what it meant. Most people think just a nefarious evil agenda. But I think it has more than that. Anyway. So yeah, I think that I've covered everything. Like I said, It's creators taking this type of information and with the elementals and all this stuff and making a creation out of it. It's not the first time it's been done. A lot of people don't even realize that they're doing it. So, there's a lot of different stuff. Anyway, I don't want to like make this too long and make it boring. No one finds it of value at all. So I hope that helped. To understand, like, it helped me. Um, because with this, like, there's what we're perceiving going on around us, but at just a little bit higher of a frequency, there's more things going on, and then other things go on over that. I feel that whatever process is going on within me, however my spiritual sight or etheric sight was activated, especially for seeing the craft in 2017. That's just something that occurs with this whole journey. I don't know how to activate it, but they do show a lot of truth in television and movies, that's for sure. But when I talked about in my last video with the God is a Writer video, and I said about how Chuck mentions that most writers are liars, kind of liars, he says. And that's at the end of season 14, and he repeats it again. They talk about it a little bit again in season 15. Because, like with this and the Navigator Across the Ice Walls, it's a creation. It's not the first time that's been done. I didn't know that. And I'm not saying that I'm ungrateful, because without this, I wouldn't have like figured out things that I have, Same with this. Um, it's a it's a good creation, you know. I'm still a little I guess that answers the question though, about the esoteric religion thing that Corey Good talked about, that they're a part of. This is it. It's not really a religion. It's just part of the process of consciousness ascension. Because that's why they call us the caretakers of the garden. We are at the highest level of consciousness here. You know, we've risen up from mineral, plant, animal, now we're human, to evolve into, more and more as we die and are reborn. And I put that quote in my book. I died as mineral and became a plant. I died as a plant and rose to animal. I died as animal and I was human. Why should I fear when I was less by dying? When was I less by dying? Yet once more I shall die human, to soar with angels blessed above. Or, another word for angel is higher dimensional. Something I want to add to this before I go. To soar with angels blessed above, and when I sacrifice my angel soul, I shall become what no mind ever conceived. I shall become what no mind ever conceived. As a human, I will die once more. Reborn, I will with the angels soar. And when I let my angel body go, I shall be more than mortal mind can know. That's Rumi. Okay? So all of us, to become human, went through this process. And I suppose in order to make it to the next stage of things, I mean, I think there's certain things that we all know and can feel inside of us, like that cosplay girl that I met at that convention here in this town years ago. I think it was in 2019. Um, it's very unlikely that she knows any of this stuff, but inside of her, she could feel it because it's all inside of us as source creators, a part of us. So, really, our creator sat down and thought about each one of us and essentially daydreamed about being us, I suppose. Each one of us. And here we are. A thought became a thing. So I will see you all tomorrow at the live where we will discuss how things have changed and what I've realized in 10 years of seeing the being of unknown origin in my room on January 15th, 2015. Tomorrow it will be 10 years, and I'm going to talk about the things that I've learned, the processes that I went through it, what it, did for me, how I benefited, and, what were the pros and cons of these things, and yeah, we'll discuss it. Because just tonight, I was looking through my books and I found exactly what I need to talk about. I knew about that before, um, but yeah. And it's almost ridiculously obvious because what it is called, I'm going to tell you. Shall I save it? I'm going to tell you tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that I'm right anyway. I don't need to check. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for being here. I do realize now what it means by certain sacrifices are needed because I've definitely sacrificed quite a bit of, myself. It's recoverable, but, all right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll try to add some more information below. Again, this book, the chapters, even an audio version, and different things I can think of. Because it's really a spiritual science. The alchemists work with chemistry and science and, real material stuff, but also this spiritual science. Because there's he talks about in the book where There's like a physical fire and then spiritual fire. Physical water, spiritual water. Physical air, spiritual air. You see what I'm saying? It has a, a copy. Physical, spiritual, like I was talking about here. But yeah. All right. Well, I'm just hoping that I didn't forget anything. I talked about, how we are a, a micro, a small reflection of what's out there, the macro of the large. I even seen a video, made me feel less stupid, where Claudio Nocelli posted a video and you can see there's a body and then there's different places, universes, I guess, in the body. I can't remember all of it. And you can see the red and blue veins running through it, like the red and the blue. Oh, goodness. Well, thanks for being here with me. I don't know how many times I've said this. Take care, everybody. Bye.